Alright, good afternoon class. Alright, so today we will be looking at this additional essay question 1. So if you look at the preamble, what we are given here is that with growing environmental awareness, large cosmetic companies advertise they have invested in research to ensure their products are environmentally friendly. So the aim here is ultimately to increase demand as well as profits. So we have for part A, explain what might happen to the fixed and variable costs in the above companies and how these changes in cost might affect their profit maximizing price and output. So if we do our quick question analysis, our 3Cs, you will see that we have the following. So command word here is explain. So what you need to do is basically to elaborate. Alright, what do we need to elaborate on? What would happen to your fixed and variable costs due to these changes in cost that we see above? So what is this change in cost? So this advertisement that your cosmetic companies are doing, that is one strategy that they undertook. So how does that affect your cost? Is it a fixed cost? Is it a variable cost? And then next, the research and development. Alright, they have invested in research to ensure their products are environmentally friendly. So this advertisement and research, alright, is it a fixed or variable cost? Okay, and just doing that alone is not enough because there's another subsequent part to it. So not just identifying what happens to fixed and variable costs. We want to see also whether these changes in cost would affect the profit maximizing price and output. So I believe by now you are familiar with profit maximizing price and output, what the condition is required. Alright, if you say MR equal MC, you are correct. That will help us determine what level of output. And then price is as you adjust it to along your AD curve to see the maximum price that they can actually charge. So for part A, like what we have identified, what you need to do, you need to talk about for these large cosmetic companies, how this advertisement and research and development, how it affects their fixed and variable costs, and whether after this change in cost, these changes in cost, whether it affects the profit maximizing price and output. So let's think about what fixed cost is, what variable cost is. If we think about what fixed cost is, I think you should by now already know fixed costs here are costs that you incur without any variation in your output level. Alright, whereas variable cost is costs that you incur as output changes. Alright, so when we talk about your advertisement, is it correlated? Is it related to changes in output level? When we talk about this research and development, does the price of your research does the cost of your research and development matter as your output changes? Does it change as your output change? Alright, so if your answer is no, then you are correct. Alright, because what we are looking here, alright, impact on fixed and variable costs, it would actually affect your fixed costs only. Because advertisement and research costs here are one-off expenditure. Alright, so you undertake advertisement now. That is one fixed price that you pay. No, sorry, not one fixed price. That's the one price that you pay, and then whether you produce more or less, it does not affect this price that you pay for the advertisement. Because the price is still the same. Alright, likewise for research and development. Is there any effect on variable costs? It seems to be in this case here, there's no effect whatsoever. So if it only affects fixed costs, then only your fixed costs will change. Will it affect MC? It won't. Alright, because your variable cost is not changed. But because your fixed cost is changed, your AC is changed. Because your total cost increased. Alright, so as a result, MC doesn't change, TC, total cost change, average cost will change. So if you remember your profit maximizing condition, MR equal MC. So if MC remains unchanged, MR is unchanged as well. Your profit maximizing condition will not change at all, especially if we assume that there's no change in demand. So if that's the case, there won't be any change in profit maximizing price and output due to this change in cost. Alright, so what you probably need to do is to draw your diagram, draw your profit maximizing condition, alright, draw an average cost curve, and do ensure that your MC cuts the average cost curve at its minimum point. Alright, and then you want to draw another average cost curve that shows a shift upwards because of the increase in cost due to your advertisement as well as your R&D. So that's quite straightforward for part A. And I hope you'll be able to actually get it done. Okay, so the issue here to consider whether your increased advertisement and R&D can be categorized as fixed or variable costs. Alright, will it affect the pricing and output decision? Okay, so analyze the price charge and output produced of your profit maximizing firm when both these costs have changed. So only costs are varied but not changes in demand. So relevant economic concept, your profit maximizing condition, MRMC. Alright, where you charge your price, okay, and then the increase in your average cost, shifting your average cost curve up. So draw this on a diagram, explain in words, and that's it for part A. Alright, now moving on to part B. Discuss whether, as a result of this, profits of such companies will increase. And whether, in the real world, firms such as your large cosmetic firms, will they set prices and output at profit maximizing levels? Alright, so if you apply your 3Cs, same thing, discuss. Alright, whether profits here will increase. That's first part of your question. Second part of your question, whether in real world, firms will set prices and output at profit maximizing level. So again, this question here, there's two parts. One part is whether profits here will change, will increase or decrease. The other one is whether will firms actually set price and output at profit maximizing level. So context here is your large cosmetic firms lah, Alright, in the real world. So if we look at this case here, first part, whether profits of such companies will increase. So firms can undertake advertisement, they can undertake research and R&D. But is it excuse me. But is it guaranteed that they will actually see an increase in demand and profits? It depends. Alright, so for your part 1, your thesis will go along this track that says, alright, so assuming your investment and R&D is successful. Alright, if advertisement and R&D is successful, alright, if you have effective advertisement, effective R&D, your demand here will increase. And this would increase your ARMR, your price would likewise also increase. Output profit will increase if this condition, the increase in total revenue is more than the increase in total cost. Because when you undertake advertisement, you undertake R&D, remember your total cost increase. In this case here, for your profits to increase, your increase in total revenue must be greater than your total cost. So this part here is important to indicate as well. Alright. So this case here is our thesis. What's for our antithesis? So antithesis is when your advertisement and your R&D is not so effective lah. Alright, so if the advertisement is not so effective, so the aim originally was to advertise and do R&D so that they show that products are environmentally friendly. So it's trying to align themselves to consumers' taste and preferences. Maybe consumers' taste and preferences towards being green. Alright, but however, if instead, because of imperfect information, these companies actually overestimate how green these consumers are. Alright, so consumers might not be as green as what your producers had actually anticipated. So end up, your demand may not increase as much. Profits will fall if the increase in total revenue is actually less than total cost. So this is, of course, the antithesis. Alright, and remember this is only part 1 because we have to address the second part of this question. Whether in the real world, will firms set prices and output at profit maximizing level? So thesis is that firms will set price and output at profit maximizing level, and in this case here, your assumption here is that they seek to profit maximize. Alright, that's our thesis. Our antithesis would be the opposite of that. So maybe, just maybe, these firms, they lack perfect information, or they may have alternative objectives. Possibly government regulation as well. So if that's the case, then your firms are not actually able to undertake profit maximizing objective, and as a result not able to produce to set price and output at profit maximizing level. So with all that said and done, you want to synthesize and conclude. So when you synthesize and conclude, you want to talk about the circumstances. Because in this case here, you assumed, and you assume several things. So if these assumptions work, and in the real world these are happening, then your answer for this is both that yes, it will increase, and yes, it will set price and output at profit maximizing level. But however, there could be other reasons as well. So you want to elaborate more on that. Look at the real world context, what's happening around the world. Is this likely or less likely to be the case? These are things that you want to add on in your evaluation, your conclusion as you synthesize. Alright? So with that, I will end this video, and if you have any questions, feel free to let me know.